Welcome, folks, to this special edition of the 700 Club. I'm so glad to see all of you today, and thanks for being with us. All across America, you called and left your voicemail questions. And today, we're going to hear your voices on the air, and we'll get answers to your questions coming up. But first, scrap the Senate filibuster. That's what a desperate Joe Biden is pushing to get his federal voting rights bill passed. But he can't even get his own party on board, including the Democrats' candidate for governor of Georgia. She doesn't even want to be with him at a meeting. Republicans are saying that will break the Senate. Charlene Aaron explains.
In a speech on the grounds of Morehouse College and Clark Atlanta University, the president invoked the civil rights battles of the 1960s, challenging senators to stand against what he calls voter suppression.
Pass the Freedom to Vote Act. Pass it now.
A fired-up President Biden was in Georgia Tuesday pushing for voting reform, going so far as to call for a change in the Senate rules regarding the filibuster.
I believe that the threat to our democracy is so grave that we must find a way to pass these voting rights bills. Debate them, vote, let the majority prevail. And if that bare minimum is blocked, we have no option but to change the Senate rules, including getting rid of the filibuster for this.
The push seen by some as an effort to pass meaningful legislation after his multi-trillion-dollar social spending plan suffered a major setback before Christmas. Julia Manchester told CBN's Faith Nation program,
after Build Back Better essentially was stalled by Manchin late last year, we saw Democrats immediately pivot towards voting rights. They want to pass a landmark piece of legislation before the midterms.
Some voting rights proponents so skeptical that they didn't show up for the speech, including Georgia Democrat gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams.
President Biden saying today it was a scheduling conflict. It's sort of hard to believe that, there could be a scheduling conflict when the president of the United States is taking a visit to the biggest city in the state you're running for governor for.
Right.
But I think that really tells the story.
The president maintains the Voting Rights Act is necessary to counter changes in voting rules in 19 states, including Georgia, that Democrats contend restrict access to minority voters. Republicans say the federal bill aims to create nationalized elections by requiring uniform rules for all states. The bill has no chance of getting the 60 votes needed to overcome a GOP filibuster in the evenly divided Senate. That's why the president says he'll support a one-time change in the filibuster rule. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says that will break the Senate.
The Senate Democratic leader is trying to bully his own members into breaking their word, breaking the Senate.
However, some Senate Democrats aren't ready to back the plan. West Virginia's Joe Manchin and Arizona's Kyrsten Sinema not on board.
We need some good rule changes to make the place work better, but getting rid of the filibuster doesn't make it work better.
Meanwhile, a controversial law allowing non-citizens to vote went into effect in New York City this week. While it doesn't apply to state and national elections, the Democrat City Council and Democrat Mayor support the law, giving 800,000 non-citizens the right to cast ballots in local elections. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 50 states, 50 of them. And the law that is set up by the Founding Fathers gave the election to each of those states. That's where elections take place. If it is all federalized, that means that they will do away with all the state laws. And it'll mean that the idea of having huge ballot harvesting, of having non-registered people vote, it will be a nightmare, and it will be a takeover, of course, of the entire country. It is not a voting rights. It is a overturning of our constitutional republic. And I think anybody with any sense would say, come on, Joe, stop lying.